In the DCPIP prac, we're going to analyse a standard, a blank and a sample. But first we're going to prepare our standard, 100 milligrams per litre of ascorbic acid. First we weigh 100 milligrams of ascorbic acid, or 0.1 of a gram. We then add this to a 100 ml flask, volumetric flask, and wash it in with model wine solution. So shown here is all the solid being washed into the volumetric flask. We then rinse the sides of the flask and make it up to 100 ml with model wine base. We take care to add model wine so that the 100 ml volumetric flask is filled just so the meniscus of the solution is just above the 100 ml line on the volumetric flask. Make sure to mix the solution well. And then we're up to the second step of diluting that 1 gram per litre ascorbic acid solution to 100 milligrams per litre. So we take 10 ml of that 1 gram per litre ascorbic acid solution and add it to a 100 ml volumetric flask, and then we make up the rest of the 100 ml with model wine solution as shown in the video. So again, we take care to add the solution up to the mark on the 100 ml volumetric flask. We're then up to our second step of the analysis, preparing for the titration. So we get 9 ml of metaphosphoric acid, just in a measuring cylinder is fine to measure out this volume, and we add it to a 50 ml conical flask. We then take our prepared standard of 100 milligram per litre ascorbic acid, and we take 1 ml of this and add it to our conical flask. This is an accurate measure, so it needs to be done by a 1 ml glass pipette or a 1 ml micro pipette. We then take 10% acetaldehyde solution, and we need to add 1 ml of this to our conical flask. This doesn't have to be accurate, and the 1 ml can be made by a plastic transfer pipette. We then mix and leave the solution sit for a couple of minutes. And now we're up to the final stage of the procedure. We fill a burette with DCPIP solution, and making sure to remove our funnel once we fill our burette. We record the starting volume on the burette, and then we start titrating our solution. So we notice a pink coloration when the drops add to the solution that then disappears. At the end point of the titration, we're looking for that pink colour to be maintained for at least 5 seconds or so. It's a bit hard to see in the video, but it becomes more apparent when you're doing it in real life. So here we see our colour change. We then read our final volume off our burette, enabling us to record the volume of DCPIP reagent added to our solution. We then repeat the titration for our standard and also do the same technique for our blank and another sample. So 2 titrations for each sample, blank and standard. We can then use the following equation to calculate the concentration of ascorbic acid in the sample. In the equation, A represents the average sample titration volume in mil, B represents the average blank titration volume in mil, and C represents the average standard titration volume in mil.